It's not quite working out, and you know what? The last cast, it was good, but it wasn't quite where we wanted it to be. So what we're going to do, we're going to turn it up a notch going into this. We're going to really try and bring the hype, bring the enjoyment a little bit, and really raise the level of what we're going to see, and hopefully the players can do too. Of course, they've brought the battlefield over to cobblestone. It's going to be them trying to build their way up brick by brick, and so it will hopefully be a 2-0. Of course, we saw one hell of a matchup before, just 16-14, very, very close indeed. At the end of the day, comes down to who is going to take that win. But looks like we're into this one, which is all well and good. Had a couple of issues there, but nonetheless it has been solved. Eyes are going to be drawn towards the bomb carrier MCK, of course. He's got his band of merry men all built around behind him. Cryptic's just holding a bit of a longer angle. He bears down upon door, just waiting to see, okay, is someone going to present their head for me? Am I going to be able to get myself a quick gush here and there? As Muller's going to find the first opening shot on towards Shaq. Second going to be found by MCK as he punishes Robin. A smoke grenade going to go towards door, and this is almost pitch perfect now for the T side. exceL have full control of the A site. It's going to be a quick rotate coming in from the side of Fish123. A USP on towards the back of Cinder. Should be able to find at least one, but no, he's going to be ended by Cryptix. Now it's Cryptix almost perfectly behind Baif. He's got his work completely cut out for him, firing off shots left, right, and center off of balcony. Cryptix there to hold the angle. He's actually going to get punished as Baif finds himself the first opening pick for the CT side. An opportunity, a window left wide on open, but is he going to be able to achieve anything? And all the answer is going to be no. He's quickly put to rest, leaving Keita, well, with all but nothing left to do. He's over towards door, and his life is all but, well, unfortunately for him, pointless in that scenario. There is nothing he can really do in what was effectively a 1 versus 4 with no real out for him. So exceL, they start this strong. They get themselves this T-side pistol round, and they look to really stampede forward now off the back of this. 4 UMPs, an AK-47 on Jenko. And there may well be a reason why half the viewer list is exceL. I think this might just be it. It's all about them rallying behind their boys, showing them, you know what, you've got support. We've got a sick roster. And let's show just why. But we have to kind of add some context to that previous result, right? That 16-14 was very, very close. We saw a very comfortable start from exceL, but that second half, a complete different story. So really do have to kind of keep that in mind. Of course, this is a whole different map, though. It's almost a clean slate, I think. So hopefully we can see a little bit more of consistency from exceL in terms of the rounds they can pick up across the halves. Of course, early days just yet. Only the pistol round is all we've seen. The second, oh, a lot of damage, but to be honest, Small getting knocked down to 24 HP doesn't really spell too many positives for this T side, at least in the immediate future. Of course, these pistols will always try and barter around these low players. Shaq is going to face, well, quickly has some second thoughts about that one as he gets knocked down to a bit of a lower amount. Just 50 to play with. Nothing huge, but Cinder is going to be the pivotal player. Finds one, looking for a second. If he can find a third, this would be huge, as he's only going to be able to find 2, but value in it nonetheless. It's not a limitless only, as Jenko is able to shut that one down before it can get too far ahead of itself, as now Shaq has a bit of a present to unwrap, but unfortunately, the only thing he's going to be doing is hitting the deck. It's just there with the USP to do the work for him. Keita underwards balcony, going to find himself trapped. As Baif now looking to pretty much shut down any sort of suffocating attempts. Can he do it? Well, there's your answer. Jenko bends his shot around the tip of that van, shuts him down, and exceL, in a completely unclean fashion, bear in mind. Very, very dirty stuff, but they do get themselves through that second round, and now they lead into what will be our third. Fish, well, Robin, a Zeus isn't going to save you, my friend. It's not going to help you. The only thing that will is sheer manpower, sheer firepower, is they need headshots. Headshots is really the only thing that can do the work. Body shots just not quite going to cut it against the Kevlar and rifles that have been brought to the table. Of course, 2 SMGs as well. Bit of dual-wielding, almost manic play coming out from exceL as they look to try and make themselves some money, as Mole nearly met with a Zeus, but he's going to find the pick. Cryptic's just another on towards Baif. And from there, well, pistols still going to be galore, but are they going to be able to hold on to anything as they're all but stuck in towards Connector? They're searching for just one man. 1 in a million almost. It is going to be Mole, but he's not facing window. Eventually decides to jump on through though, and that's the bad decision. We kind of almost look at him and go, okay, he's not facing. And the minute we even discuss the outcome, he decides, you know what, screw it, why not? Let's just go for that charge. And from there, he suddenly realizes what a bad decision he has made. As the pistols were all waiting for him, gives a Mac-10 up to the hands of Cinder. As he's now looking to get himself up on top of boost, providing they understand that it's spacebar to jump and control to crouch. Once they can work that out and eventually get that boost going, then it could be an impact Cinder, as he will try to really just hold this push now with that Mag 10. It could completely be a bloodbath. Finds 1 and a second. Look at the amount of money he's going to make now as he whips out his pistol, looking for even more. Unfortunately, somewhat overreaches what he can do, but to be honest, the money he's made off the back of that Mag 10, in terms of the kills he's found, let alone the impact he's had on towards damaging the side of exceL, there's so much value in that for them now. 6,150 is what he's sat upon. Is going to buy up an M4, of course, with full utility, kit and the like. exceL finally get themselves in a standpoint where they can go into this guns blazing and keep up that pressure, but at least the early days shows that perhaps individual prowess may yet again be a solid point for the CT side. Flash to be, well, throwing nice and partly over towards B side. It's just going to find its way over that wall, and from there, a little bit of a glare on towards the side of Fish, but nothing too crazy, nothing too apparent. It's just early days after all. A frag grenade, you get to find itself towards the tips of drop. Yet again, those similar sort of fashion to the flashes. That's only a bit of an explosive greeting, but nothing more than a slight shake of the hand. Jesp's going to try and squeeze his way out of this one. Going to get himself that smoke down towards window. Got a Molotov in hand as well, so curious to see if he's going to decide to use that for second room or not, as keeter and Cinder really need to be contended with now as they hold this long area in one hell of a duo. One that is quickly to be dismantled by the side of exceL as they find themselves trades aplenty. As Jess now will look to come in from ramp, and Jess' priority right now isn't necessarily the man on site. He doesn't want to be looking towards Robin. He actually wants to make sure that no funny business goes on towards door. And then as they push on up towards ramp, the higher they get, then Mole swings in towards action, and then his role sort of switches, because now he wants to group up the cluster and deny what just happened. Robin getting an opportunity to get a double kill spray down as now he tries to lurk him from behind, but at that point, off the back of that double kill spray down, Jesper's lurk, well, it's all but limitless. Nothing can save him. Fish, they get themselves a staple mark in this one, 1-3. Now they look to make this work and use this as their staging ground going into this 5th round. The Deagle of Mole just searching for something. A man on a mission. I think that's certainly going to be said, but one that I think he knows full well that it's going to be very, very unlikely that that shot is going to land. As Baif going to be the man to just almost plant his flag over towards platform and said, you know what, if you want to get on towards here, well, you have to at least have to deal with my M4 first, which is a whole little lead for the side of exceL, and you kind of have to bear in mind for them, gonna nearly make a mess of that pronunciation, but for them, as we were kind of trying to touch on, they've only got these 2 Deagles, which certainly are a curveball for Mole and MCK to try and handle on this, for all intents and purposes, buy. So they do have to play this one very, very carefully. Their cards need to be well thought out before they choose to play them. They can't just go into this very gung-ho for a bit of an all-in and kind of bank on the idea they can make a quick buck, because a quick buck isn't going to help them in the long run of this match. All it's going to do is actually pit them further behind. So hopefully we can see them really kind of think this one out and make the best possible decision they've got, which seems to be creep out towards B platform and try and gain some presence, as they can certainly try and toy with the idea of flashing their way through and with flashing side as well, trying to blind off Shaq. But do they realize there's a player playing that close left? No, they don't. They don't even check the angle. Baif can give it a field day as Shaq there to aid him, and it's going to be a complete and utter lawnmower effect for the side of Fish123 as they nip at the heels of exceL and they give them, well, almost a piranha treatment. They can just completely chomp on through off the back of angles not being checked. Basic mistakes on the T side of exceL. Even with a flash that, from the looks of things, blinded both of those players on platform, they still were unable to make it happen. And, well, it comes down to, yeah, just those basic things. Check your corners. Get yourself set up. Be proactive on where you think your opposition is going to be. Of course, you know, playing that close left corner just around that square angle, that's fairly common. That's nothing crazy out of the box. So certainly questions to be raised in the early days of a very important buy round now, as Jesp and Co looking to lead the charge with these pistols. They should be able to catch him off guard, and that's at least 1 pick, but look at the amount of damage this nade has done, and next time it's going to be a Molotov to land. Jesp is going to keep on going, keep on plowing as he picks up a double kill in total. And yes, exceL, they do have a man advantage, but look at their HP. Mole 39, Cryptics just 9. That's such a small amount. Mole gets the information on where Cinder is going to be playing, tries to fight him with the clock, but that is not going to be enough. Cryptics, on the other hand, does find the trade with the Deagle as they dance through the fire and the flames, leaving Keita to pin down window as he holds it nice and comfortably, taking the head directly off of Jenko, leaving Cryptics and MCK now in a 2 versus 2. But almost could swiftly be turned into a 1v2 now when you bear in mind Cryptics on just 9 HP and MCK's individual potential to fall as well, just judging by the positions they're playing, as they are facing into Keita, a man who has been very, very strong in the early days of this match. And he now looks to hammer this one home. It's going to be a ramp push. Baif doesn't have quite an idea of what is going to be going on, but Cryptics is low SP. Well, was walking dead set into the crosshair of Keita as MCK gets the dink, but doesn't quite get the shot. That's heartbreaking, as now Baif knows the plan. He gets to hold the angle, hold the cross. As Cryptics going to die, clinching the bomb in one hand, rifle in the other. And that is going to be his final moments as a score and get to equalize 3-3. Fish123 almost rolling in the deep at this point as they have equalized things, and it's looking very, very apparent that they want to be establishing some dominant early control. Of course, exceL will look to really kind of contend this. I talked about kind of earlier on about how I didn't want to see Fish get given an opportunity to run away with things, so hopefully that kind of comes into things as well. I think both of these teams can really rock that same side of the coin about momentum. So it's very interesting to see how these guys can play and kind of almost counter off against each other off the back of that. As Cinder just deciding, you know what, aggression isn't my forte. I'm actually going to be fairly passive about that because he holds the angle. He waits for them to walk into him, and MCK almost just hands him his resume and says, I'm perfect for this job. Let me do it. Here's my CV. I can do it for you. And he does just that. Succeeds. 5 stars for him. A buzzing reference being handed out, as it is now going to be a 4 versus 5, a one-man disadvantage for the side of exceL to contend with. And for Fish, continue their leapfrog forward. The flashing towards the second room is going to give Robin prime time to find not only one, but damage on towards the second, as Mole, just 11 HP now, really beginning to help them as Keita, the second man, just almost make drop an unobtainable position. Cryptics is going to find Baif. That does leave this B site somewhat open. A second now on towards Keita as well, making things even more doable, but Shaq is still standing. He's got a flash in his back pocket. Now, bear in mind, all he has to do is waste time. There are 20 seconds on the clock. Cinder has now rotated in with the AWP. They're just holding for this one. They have to run back for that bomb as well. So many things, so many things that are just almost stacking up for the side of exceL. But all of these elements do not play into their favor because now they have to rush on towards the site with 10 seconds left. They're banking on aggression not being played, but Shaq has really no need to sit passively. He can go aggressive. The world is his oyster as he picks up a double kill by just waiting for that bomb to go down. That's his biting point, pushes on through. Makes nice and easy work of it. And Fish123 get themselves 4-3 up in this one. Meaning that exceL are starting to fall by the wayside, at least in the short-term scoreline. Of course, pistols now is all they can really bring to the table. Deagles, P250s. We've been there. We've crossed this bridge. We know exactly what's going to happen. It's just a matter of how quick and whether exceL can at least go down with a better fight in their hearts. There's a quick frag grenade to land at the feet of Mole. 41 HP is what he's going to be left with. That's so much early on damage. Huge impact being made just by utility alone. You have to think just about the money you invest in a single frag grenade. There's actually kind of a lot of benefit of using your frag grenades in rounds like this to get that impact damage, because it makes your job just that little bit easier on those rifles when this push does begin to formulate for the side of exceL, as Jesp just trying to almost play with the curvature of that smoke. Shaq will just be looking to steer towards platform though, and well, I can't help but think this is going to be a fairly scripted outcome now. Can't help but think that mistakes were made by me not getting a bottle of water next to me before we started this one. So that's going to be an interesting one off the back of that. As Shaq is going to find one, and from there, all the pieces fall into place. Fish123 blitzing through, making nice and smooth work of it. I think the big thing is going to be this buy round. That is what we're all waiting to see, and I'm kind of curious to see sort of what level of aggression we're going to see from exceL, because the way I see it is they have two choices. They either default out and go for the same old, which they've been doing a fair bit, or they group up and go for this kind of aggressive, quick push on towards the site. And I feel like that could potentially catch Fish off guard, but at the same time, then there's that curveball of Fish's holds have been very, very apparent and very trade dependent. So if they can just find something to break the rhythm of the C2 side, then maybe that could be another opportunity as well. Who am I to say how they should play? But I do think they need to find some level of adaptation to the way that Fish are holding these sites. And as I said, a lot of that really comes down to these trades. They've been a key element of these holes. As flashes, yet again, going to be plentiful, but they're not checking the same corner. Baif has been here once. He got a double kill then. Now he's going to get a triple. Looks like he's quickly going to be shot down from Jesper. Denies that one ever so slightly, but then Robin to trade it back means that it is all but going to be done as Robin still standing, still tapping those heads, and he gets himself a triple of his own, stealing the limelight away from Baif, and all that can be said is exceL. Why are you not checking that corner? You know where they're going to be playing. You know that Baif has stood there not once, not even twice, but 3 times now. And every single time you've let him just run complete and utter wild. Just no care in the world about the corner that he is standing upon. You're letting a rifle spray you down with no response. Wake up, fix that, patch that hole. Otherwise you're going to find yourself a sinking ship very, very quickly. And well, I'll tell you one way to start off a buy round off the back of that is getting that first pick. So great stuff by MCK as he punishes Cinder. But can they hold this together? That is going to be the big question. Keita and Shaq seemingly combining over towards this A side of ramp. If Jenko peeks out here, it'll be interesting to see if he can get a pick and then gets traded out, or sort of how that whole dynamic is going to work. I certainly hope that if he does peek on out, then we also get, at the same time, a push coming in from long and get that timing on fleek, because if they can get that timing perfectly played out, then we are looking at Shaq getting traded, and from there, it sort of falls back into place. But so far, at least early days, Keita will fall. Shaq is the one to actually get left standing. Robin trying to kind of just toy with the idea of spraying through this cross. But exceL kind of have themselves on the site, really. Baif just not able to achieve too much. Shaq still lurking in the shadows almost, though. It is going to cut down this AWP as Robin finds himself that opening pick on towards MCK. And that does leave us in a 2 versus 2, but look at Jesp. A crucial part of this round. Could shut this down from the CD side point of view before he even gets going. And there you have it. Not only one, but potentially even a second now, as that flash is going to go off. And that's going to be so blinding as Cryptix. All he has to do is sit tight, just hold upon this brick wall as Robin tries to lurch around the shadows. Finds the first, though. Just 7 HP, though. That's such a small amount. And Molotov is going to be thrown out. Time rapidly running out. Forces Cryptix to peek into him, but Robin is going to get away with it. Another triple kill. Gets himself on the bomb, and within the nick of time, he looks like he is going to pick this one up. Robin, you absolute nutter. Making it work for the team. Fish123, just another round. Building into their tally now. 7-3. Robin stepping up so hugely. Back-to-back triple kills to him almost now. 12-5 in terms of frags. 4 assists as well. Really rocking it out for the CT side. That's such an unfortunate round for exceL to lose. Jenko going to lead the charge, at least trying to, yet again, back to Fish with aggression. Clearly just trying to say, you know what? Stop walking all over. Stop doing this. We are going to keep on fighting. And, you know what? He always seems to be able to open things up. It's a similar sort of affair for MCK as well, but it's not even the openings that cause the problems. Baif, meanwhile, well, they say Baif forever. I can see why. That's great stuff coming in from him. Jenko, yet again, going to be the curveball, though. And that does leave a bit of a sour taste in your mouth. It's Fish, well, they've won their way out of pretty tough situations before. But I don't think that's going to be the case this time around. Shaq, in a 1 versus 3, hope all but dwindling. 45 seconds on the clock. More than happy to have a crack at it as he brings it back to a 1 versus 2. Mole going to look to get his running shoes on. Move on over towards that B site. Meanwhile, in a bit of an opposite fashion, it's going to be MCK to take his shoes off as he wants to be dead silent. He wants to lurch in the shadows, wait ever so patiently, just to make sure that they have the best possible outcome when it comes down to Shaq and kind of how he wants to play this one out. As he's decided, you know what, an AWP is going to be my kind of go-to option for this. And that's very, very ballsy. Himself in towards second room, but fires off one, and at that point, well, the bomb keeps on ticking. He has a choice: go aggressive or run on away, and I have a feeling running on away is going to be the best strategy. Fish123, they may well be at 73 standpoint, but you know what? They actually get a lot of value out of saving this AWP, because take a look at their economy. Yes, Robin has been able to build up a whole lot off the back of staying alive for the most part in the last couple of rounds. But at the same time, we are seeing a lot of losses of the likes of Baif. You know, Keita not really being able to save too much as well. Shaq even not being able to really build up too much. So this AWP actually very, very manageable for the CT side. And exceL only getting to 4, which means that for Fish, kind of the only thing that's coming to mind right now is this giant neon sign that's kind of buzzing 11-4. That's what they're going to push towards now. That's the staple mark for them. And exceL, well, all they can look to do is try and contest it off the back of that. Appreciate it, Quentouch, I think. I think I just butchered your name. I apologize in advance, but I appreciate it nonetheless. Thank you for your kind thoughts. Hope you guys are enjoying the second stream, the coverage of the ESL Premiership. The UK side of things is going on right now. That nade is going to be so perfect. Oh my god. Look at the HP. It is going to be a 5 versus 3, and Shaq has fallen, and Auto Director deciding that we just stare at his dead corpse. Unfortunately, the nade may have been crucial, but it hasn't quite done enough. Fish123 already running to the hills, sprinting on our way. There is nothing they can do to fight this round back, but goddamn, that nade was absolutely beautiful to watch. What it does mean, though, is that 11-4 has rapidly been turned on its head. The save from Fish will allow them to keep the impact going in this following up 13th round, but we could be looking at a much closer one now. This is very rapidly turning it in towards something that favors the side of exceL, providing they can keep this consistent. So this 12th round has been pivotal for them, and also keeping 5 alive really plays into their hands in terms of allowing them to buy for hopefully what can build into being every round of this half. Flash going to go in towards mid doors. The nade as well. Not quite as beautiful as previous nades, but still a whole lot of damage as Cryptix and Jenko fall to that kind of 50 HP marker, as it's going to be a push out of ramp that it's thrown into the side of Fish. MCK going to find himself that first frag on towards Baif. A nade to go on towards the back of site. Should be a bit of an uncomfortable spot for Keita. It's getting worse and worse by the second, though, as Jenko gets another frag for him. exeL really placing their chess pieces, should we say, in every single, right place on the board. Definitely didn't butcher that one at all, honest. Adam had a reference to make, and it came out perfectly. Definitely, 100%. Then that is going to find one on towards Jess, though. Comedics aside, it does mean that, again, yes, it's this kind of a saving affair for Fish123, but it gets to a point where they say that, okay, you've put some money in the bank, right? You're building up some interest, and it's all well and good, but there comes a time when eventually your interest becomes just that little bit meaningless. When you're earning kind of like 1% interest, is it really the billion of life? Well, not really, and I think that's kind of where I'm at right now with this save from Cinder and Shaq as well. Yes, there's value in it. Yes, it's keeping the AWP and keeping that M4, but they don't need saves. They need to be able to actually hold things together going into these rounds, and that's kind of what we're looking at. They're running out of chances to walk away with what should have been them winning the half. It's almost a reversal of what we witnessed in that first map, so hopefully we can see them kind of make the most of this going into this round. Of course, unfortunately, we talk about insurance and stuff. They don't have anything on the rest of their players. It's going to be a mag 7 on Keita, 5 7s on Baif and Robin. That's nothing pretty. That's nothing you kind of want to be looking at right now. So hopefully we can see them make the most of that, as exeL, in their sort of storyline, all they're trying to do is kind of rampantly just take full control of the B-site, run away with this. And fair play to them. At the end of the day, they have a chance to get themselves an 8-7 if they can keep this up. As Shaq going to go aggressive with the CZ, finds himself that double kill. MCK, though, should be lurking in the backlines and does a very swift job of cutting down Baif, and pretty much means that a fighting chance in this 2 versus 4 is well and truly possible, considering the firepower disadvantages. As MCK going to find himself just another Cinder, will find one with the AWP. I mean, it's now all but on MCK, and then he walks dead set into a Cinder. You have to kind of toy with the idea that surely he knew where that, surely he knew where it was being peaked, but well, he walks right into it, and either way, it does at least close the dream of exeL taking that 8-7, but instead, at least a 7 to 8 is on the table. Hopefully we can see some sweet mole action with the ADP as well. That'd be nice. I think taking a glance at the scoreboard, it's been a very interesting affair in terms of where the frags have been found, but it seems to be Jenko and MCK doing a whole lot of the work for the side of exceL, with the recent step up, of course, of Jesp as well. And don't want to leave Mole and Cryptics to the side, but in terms of impact frags, we have been seeing a lot more out of those top name players. Early days yet, but the clock, it keeps on winding. It's not going to stop for a single player, so eventually they run out of time, but Cinder feeling confident. Feeling happy almost, as he gets a very easy shot on towards MCK. Mole with the ADP on this T-side point of view is almost feeling a bit lackluster at this point, as he peeks on out, but nearly outmatched by a rifle. That doesn't paint a positive picture at all, as Jesp is going to relocate up towards the upper portion of the map, tries to spring out towards A long, just almost wanting to go out together as a unit on towards Kita, which is a smart play. You get those trades, especially with the flash, and they don't even need the trade. Up until Robin gets thrown into the mix. Throws one huge wrench into the works, because not only does he find one, but what does he do? He leapfrogs forward, finds a second on towards Cryptics. Now he withdraws even further, leaving Jess to try and make it work over towards Wood. He's going to peek out and find one, and a second on towards Robin, actually. Great stuff coming out from Jess. If he can find the third on towards Baith, this would be almost a pitch-perfect start for him, as a triple kill is going to be hooked on up, and almost a round that felt very, very uncomfortable and awkward for the side of exceL is almost doable. As Jesp, another back-to-back headshot for him on towards Shaq. A quadra kill for Jesp now, as he runs away with it. 8-7 is going to be the scoreline. exceL couldn't be asking for anything better almost when it comes down to bringing back impact for them after, again, another kind of rough start for them. We saw a very quick interim from Fish as they found all but one of their rounds in that huge stint after finally reclaiming exceL in their pissed around stint. So I think all in all, it's happy days for exceL, and I think, you know, the same thing for Fish, right? You couldn't be complaining at 8 on your CT side. You know, some would be saying that exceL actually only having 7 on T side isn't enough, but I think with the context of these two teams straying away from standard CS meta, I think the scoreline is okay. I think it well and truly leaves the door wide open for anyone to take this win. I'd say one thing that is going to be for certain, though, is the fact that my lips feel like the desert right now. Really just kind of leaving that water aside wasn't a smart plan. Needed to bring that water up here. Jespenjenko looking to go aggressive on towards platform. exceL hedging pretty much all of their bets over towards this B site. Standard stuff, but Jesp, he's so crisp. A double kill for him. Lad, how is he landing these headshots? This is beautiful from him. So artistic as MCK lands another right on towards Cinder. When is this reckoning going to stop? Finally, Robin shuts it down, looking to really have an impact, but Jesp is still playing around this box. He's still just shutting Fish out of their sight almost. They can't even get close. As Jesp just continuing trying to work his magic. And Fish, all they can feel like they can do is back off. That's so heartbreaking for this T-side, really, because now, yes, they haven't taken much damage, but Shaq doesn't actually have any Kevlar. The only man to actually have that is going to be Robin. They're in a 2 versus 3. Jenko is fairly low, which, you know, arguably kind of balances that out, but it's going to be so damn tough for them, really. Shaq and Robin, though. 2 quick shots. I mean, it's all on MCK. Gonna find at least one on towards Robin. Looking for the quick second. The final lead on towards Shaq. Finds us off the tag. 7 HP. MCK darting away. Trying to at least keep himself alive and intact on just 15 HP. Shaq picks up a USP. Gets himself the drive-by. And he carries it home. Fish123 out of thin air. 2 quick picks. And they convert that into a round. Logsy, I'm not gonna lie. If you could bring me some water right now, I'd be happy, but, you know. It's a shame it's all but a meme. I feel like I've got this whole like kind of desert vibe building up right now in my mouth. It's not fun. Nonetheless, bringing it back to the game. Pistols is the storyline for exceL, and that's very tough for them to lose a pistol that sort of way. They had everything kind of playing into their side, and then you just get this sudden curveball out of nowhere. I like the fact that Fish have gone for 3 SMGs as well. They're really trying to make some money, and as much as it can be argued they're pushing the boat out with confidence, why not? It's 9-7. They know they need the rounds, and something that comes hand in hand with needing rounds is also needing economy and needing stability. And if they can kind of get that all in one package, then why complain? Seems like the City side have garnered themselves some information though as they begin to adjust their position somewhat, which kind of counter into things in terms of doing damage, but all in all, it's still these rifles able to find one. Jesper's going to find himself the quick tag and return the one towards Robin, so a nice trade, but you have to bear in mind that he's taking damage, and also that rifle is unobtainable, so it's nothing that you kind of sit there and streak positivity from, but back-for-back trades is at least something. The minimum viable product, they say. As finally it is going to be this quick rush. Cinder drops down, comes out through the second room, guns blazing. keeZa going to be the man to sandwich them through, and there is nothing they can do. exceL cannot fight this one out, and as expected, it's going to be Jenko, the last man standing. He's over towards window, climbs into drop. But with just a 5-7, a straight ink is all well and good, but that doesn't solve anything. 10-7 is going to be the scoreline. Fish123 looking smooth in this second half. Seems like Fish are pretty much banking on the old faithful at this point and deciding, you know what, we're up against pistols, just we don't even care about going out through drop, just charge out platform with these SMGs and just completely wreck them. And that's all that's going to happen. Cinder even whipping out his sidearm, and even though he gets knocked down to 13 HP, still makes it through, comes out the other side, and he's still swinging, he's still hunting. Jenko is the last man remaining. Bit of a similar fare to the previous round. He's going to come out towards drop zone, and Cinder, he's a man that doesn't give up. He gets a quadra kill. He's happy days. He's made so much money with that Mac 10. 3 kills with that, I believe, and then 1 with the pistol. Happy days. And not only that, you look at his stats, well, he's going to be even having a grin on his face off the back of those as well. 19-9. Pretty good scoreline. Then you add into the mix that it's 11-7. Fish will look to really try and kind of break their way forward now. If they can get this first buy round, then it all starts to favour them. There's a quick nade to land on towards Robin, but that doesn't do too much. exceL are going to look to get that first pick though, and they do get it in nice success as Jesp and Cryptix will combine to put on a bit of a trading show. Cinder is still lurching in second room, but he needs to kind of do something about Cryptix, and unfortunately they just don't seem to be able to respond at all. Shaq is going to jump on out, but he's met with a quick dink and eventually a quick death. There's MCK again, the shots required, and a very quick round actually, with exceL making almost mincemeat of the side of Fish, even when there was a buy on the table. keZa looking to pry his way open towards long. If he gets himself a sweet double kill, or at least a trade, that is an opening for Fish123 to punch their way on towards a site that the CT side are holding nice and contemptibly. Bear in mind as well, you've got Jesp bringing in the shotgun, almost channeling us in a JW. Hopefully he can bring some of those Swedish genes to light here as he finds himself one. That's a very nice start from him. Mole a second as well. He gets the double kill. Jesp. Well, we doubted him, but there you have it. Mag 7 headshot on towards Robin. Shaq and Baith, the last two remaining now for Fish123, and they are starting to lose grip of things, I think. It has to be said. These buy runs really haven't gone in their favour. Jesper, quick shotgun though, on towards Shaq, and well, we talk about money-making ability. Mag 7, well, a bit of the same, and Jesper's going to be feeling very, very happy that he's able to make that work. And not only that, he then gets to upgrade to an AK-47. What more does this man want, right? He's just walked into a casino, dumped 100 quid on blackjack, and walked out happy as ever, doubling his money. Faith is finally going to end him, but even then, I don't think that's much of an issue at this point. 5 seconds on the clock. It's all about economics of a round win. And as we've already well and truly touched on, economics of Jesper, economics of Jenko, well, it's all but very, very obvious stuff. Molotov in towards drop though, that should buy him a little bit of time if we see any sort of drop pressure at all, but it seems like Fish123 are all but biased towards platform, which is very, very concerning now, because this gives me one clear tell. Fish123 feel like they're out of options, they feel like they're in a box, and they feel like aggression is their only way out of that box. And sometimes fighting way out of a box can be positive, but it also can lead to a bit of a bloodbath, which right now MCK is proven to us with one fell swoop. The amount of damage being done to the T side alone is already heartbreaking, let alone the trades that are just shutting them down. Robin and Cinder, already the last two remaining. There's a minute 10 on the clock, so the CT side feel like they're in no need to rush. And as much as that may also aid Fish as they boost their way up on towards Tree, they still have their work well and truly cut out for them now, as a boost on towards Tree, quickly denied by Jess. Cinder gets a quick tap over towards Door, but still looking for just another 1v2. Jesper Mole, if they just peek together, this almost should be easy. And well, they don't even need to peek together, as Jesper's going to just slowly but surely wait for Jess to show just a bit too much skin. And from there, use the M4 to lay into him with those bullets, and that lead is enough to put him in the grave. I mean, the Fish now, they're kind of back staring at themselves going, okay, well, what can we actually do? And it really does feel like they're actually running out of strategy, almost running out of tactics to bring to the table. As has been a lot of this, okay, 5-man push B platform, 5-man push out of A sort of stuff. So hopefully we can see a bit more of a sensible and a bit more solidarity in these executes and defaults they can try to play. These bog standard stuff, well, I think exceL have caught onto that now, and this is kind of where the comeback begins for them. Fortunately, it's just pistols in this one, and Jenko, well, feeling very, very confident as he finds himself a double kill. Shaq is going to meet him, though, with a Tech 9, and that will throw a bit of a curveball in, at least in terms of economics. But Cryptix is going to end him, which means that there's that equalization point. The ever so crucial one as well, bear in mind. But it is a buy. Fish123, they will bring everything they need. The closest one down, all they need to do now is bring some strategy. They're actually denying an AWP. They want to go 5 flat rifles. Clearly gives you a bit of a sentiment of aggression yet again. But one thing I like already off the back is that you just look at the map, you can already tell they're playing actual set out default and not just a quick 5-man rush out of something. So hopefully this can be well thought out. We can see if they can pry their way into a quick pick on towards the side of exceL, and if they can do that, then we start to see some positivity, start to see that grin back on towards the face of the likes of Cinder and Robin and such. But until they get that pick, then it is just that, an empty default. Jenko still just always waiting ever so patiently. Fish just really not giving anything away at all. And I've got to be said, as much as I've been kind of berating them on their T-side half the last couple of rounds, I also think it has to be said as well that they're not gaining anything from sitting here doing nothing. They're actually wasting time, which is a commodity that the T-side actually favor. They don't want to be allowing exceL to start to choke them with 20 seconds on the clock to push towards the site, because that's when mistakes are even made. So Fish123 really need to start gaining some ground right now and actually realizing that time is on their side of things, and wasting it and just kind of sitting around the default that is getting you nothing at all, not even any information, doesn't do you any favors at all. As finally they go for this last kind of biting option, push out towards A, but with 15 seconds on the clock, they need to get this bomb down. And look at Mole, he could stop this round before it even gets going. The crossfire coming on in, Cryptix is going to find one. Baif is going to drop Mole down dead. Shaq's going to try and kind of throw a bit of a wrench into things, as MCK is going to find one. The bomb will go down, so now it's going to be a retake and a 1 versus 4 at that. So finally, a little bit of hope on the table. Cinder is going to find the frag on towards MCK, and Fish will get the round, but they cut that one very, very close, and it comes down to purely that balcony pick on towards Mole. CZs and the like for the CT side. That's what their armory contains at this point, and a pretty bleak sight when it comes down to firepower, but as expected, you just try and make the best of the situation. Of course, you've got the Kevlar, you've got some utility as well, so a bit of an interesting mix of things, and hopefully we can see a bit of crossfire action coming towards Longers already. Jenko facing a little too wide for my liking, needs to make sure that he tries to bait them in so that Cryptix actually gets to do something, but instead it's just going to be these 1 versus 1s, and that's not the way you want to play that crossfire. Very disheartening stuff, as these pistols are going to find themselves annihilated. And from there, it just leaves the trio, Mole, MCK, and Jesp, to try and claw their way out of this situation, which is going to be a whole lot of 1 versus 1s, really, as now Cinder gets himself control of drop zone. Second room, of course, a bit of a more tough affair to handle, but Mole almost going to be making, well, the best he can out of it, in fairness. There's not really too much you can do with that. He tries to go for the shots. Unfortunately, a few of them will miss and doesn't really get the jump. Jesper's going to find one on towards Keita, but that's quickly going to be traded out by Cinder. From there, it's that same sort of almost monotone aggression, really, that comes to the table with these pistols. Bomber's going to keep on ticking. MCK just going to almost be staring at the clock and saying, you know what? That clock, well, it's got my name on it. Eventually it's going to pop, and that's going to, well, pretty much going to be it for him. So Kevlar is at least something that he could try and carry on through. The Deagle is going to be useful as well, but the big thing is this next buy. Fish123, 13-11. Just 3 from closing this one out. exceL, now's your time to shine. Now's your time to respond. This is it for you. You are going to run out of opportunities otherwise. If they lose this round, Fish123 pretty much have themselves an easy route to 15-11, and from there, I just don't quite see it. So exceL, now or never. Robin going to hold the angle. A shoulder peek to come on through, but Jenko, you should know that's not going to work. You will be AWP yourself. You know the tips and tricks. He gets punished nonetheless. Fish almost going to try and pivot into things now, as Shaq going to go a bit aggressive in towards platform, not expecting as well that he's going to be met by an opponent of his, and that's going to knock him down to just 11 HP, so a pretty small amount, all in a single well-placed frag grenade. And Molotov could end his day in a nice and smooth nutshell. As MCK back on this peak, looking for a bit of a jump peak now as well, just some information, just tries to play on this angle, see if he can spot a push, and also not only that, it's a nice angle for the second room as well, because when you're going out kind of crosshair ready for a headshot, you actually have to flick up to him. So, could be interesting to see if that works out. exceL starting to rotate though, so they clearly have an idea of what is going on, but when they find the shots, Cryptix is going to find one. Still looking for the trio that's going to be rushing nice and quickly out of platform as Keita there to take him down. Bear in mind just how low they're going to be though, and Jesper is going to kick it into high gear as he beats a bit of a turret. Shaq still 11 HP, trying to make the best of things with this AWP. He's unable to connect. Robin next in line to fall as Mole's starting to land it down. Then MCK, last man to put the nail in the coffin. exceL, this was their time to shine, and this is where they step up, 12-13. Enthusiasm back on the table now. Fish, they're still going to be in a buy though. It's nothing, out of the ordinary. They're still going to be in a buy. It's going to be much more pistol related though. It's going to be 2 Tech 9s, 3 AK-47s. And this is where aggression is actually, less of a desperate plea and more of an actual kind of welcome thing, right? Because we want to see those Tech 9s lead the charge and the rifles kind of play into the trade, which is exactly, so far what we're seeing. Shaq will find one. Keita, the next pistol as well, he's going to fall, but he buys time for the rifles to push on through. They get the sandwich on towards Cryptics. They do a good chunk of damage to Mole, and eventually that leads to just another frag, and almost a bit of a spray down now as MCK is going to find one, but that's a beautiful trade, leaving exeL on an island. And just thinking about the outcome of this round now for exeL, because the only thing that springs to mind is economy and a reset potential. This still could well and truly be game. exeL, of course, going to run to the distance, needs to save the AWP, and just looking to get as much value out of this round as he physically can. But we talked about this being game. Well, it is going to be just that, 13-12. It's going to move swiftly up to 14-12 any second now, and kind of all that can be said then is, oh, do exeL have it in them to fight back? Taking a look at their economy, it is nothing perfect at all, to be honest. It's not a pretty sight. Bit of a horror movie, to be honest. Just the M4 and Mole, the AWP, of course, on exeL, but that's not the balance you want, let alone you need. So off the back of that, they know they have to make a play. Cryptics going to boost someone up. Force drop. Shaq, yet again, the receiving end of a good chunk of early damage, as Mole going to get himself onto his platform, just playing around the Olofmeister stairs. Think if maybe he can squeeze out a couple of cheeky ones here and there. A man on a mission. Fish just buying their time. They don't want to rush into things. Playing this one, yet again, still clustered up, but I do like the lurk coming in from Cinder, actually. That's much better, because instead of just being a 5-man rush out onto the site willy-nilly, they've got a bit of tactical fairness coming in, because if they can get the split into a drop, it all plays into things. But Cinder very, very late on this one, but he's actually trying to catch the rotate, and that's going to be, well, exactly what he does. Finds the frag on towards exeL, already leaving it a 4v2, and actually prompting a very quick rotate. And my eyes want to be drawn towards MCK right now. Does he realize what's coming? Has the deagle, gets the quick flick, has control of the bomb now. Cryptic's going aggressive with the CZ, trying to just sandwich them in from behind, but that's just not quite the fight he was searching for, meaning that it is all going to be on MCK with that deagle. But as I said, it does have control of the bomb, so an interesting circumstance for him. 25 seconds on the clock. I don't want to say he can do this, because I do feel like Fish can even, worst case scenario, just push him and get the pick and win the round off that basis, but you kind of have to look at the the amount of damage he could do if he just holds the angle, peeks out at the right time. But fortunately, he's a little late. Keita going to dart towards the site with that bomb. MCK is going to find one on towards Cinder, but Keita's going to place it down, meaning that there's only one way for MCK to get out of this one alive. And that's either go for the save or go for the retake and win it. As he pushes out towards door, tiptoeing his way through this one, picks up the rifle, has himself Kevlar. Again, the tool set he needs. Doesn't need a helmet. He's up against AK-47s, has a Molotov in his back pocket. He's sneaking out, looking to search these angles, checks his close right, makes sure that no one's going to be present there. Molly's off towards chicken coop, looking to toggle this defuse. The one thing he lacks is going to be that kit. That means he is rapidly running out of time now. Needs to get that frag on towards Bayfront platform. Does a good job of it, but at this point, Keita standing towards second room drop. There it is, MCK, all but done. He's going to dart out towards his exit route of platform. Bomb's going to go. Bit of a big pop. And Fish123 just one step closer to taking themselves the series tonight, 15-12. I feel like looking at this match, just to kind of lay some thoughts in it, exeL have put up both times very, very solid fights in certain points, and then they've also lost grip of the maps at very certain points as well. It's not been back and forth rounds, it's been much more stint related stuff. If you look at this scoreboard right now, look at that first half. Even look at the second half as well. We saw kind of 4 in a row, then finally a bit of a wake up call for Fish as they then find themselves that 2 back to back. But for exeL, yeah, it's been very short-lived stints for them, so hopefully we can see them really kind of knuckle down with practice and apply some reparations so they can get a bit more longevity out of their playbook. It's Jenko with the Max 7, just trying to pin down drop for what could be the final time. There's a bit of, well, teething damage is going to be applied. Cryptix and Jenko are knocked down by minimal amounts, nothing crazy. Cinder certainly toying with the idea of peeking out on that one though, and if he can get a pick there, let alone two, that could be almost outrageous to watch, but he's going to be quickly cut down by Eagle. So man advantage to fall into the court of exceL. MCK going to look to try and pin this one down as well, do as much as he physically can, where he gets damage on towards Robin, but not before Robin can find himself a pick of his own. Bafe can combine to get a second, meaning that I can't help but think that this is a little bit done. Jesp has to just go absolutely huge towards door with this Deagle, as Shaq just denies Jenko any sort of opening opportunity, and that pits us in a 2 versus 4, and from there, well, manpower really starting to dwindle on away. Shaq, though, will hit the deck off the back of Mole. Is this possible? That's the question on our minds. Mole just going to peek on through. That bomb is starting to tick on through, so City side know they have to get aggressive and quickly. Mole tapping his teammate. That's not what you want to see. He's quickly going to be traded down by Kita. And I have a feeling that might be the last play we get to witness, as Robin is going to land one final shot on towards Jesp. And there you have it. Fish123. They take the first series of tonight. 2-0. Great CS from them. exceL, short-lived since. A couple of very interesting moments. And, you know, a lot of times in these matches, we actually were cheering their name and really rallying behind them because they were making some short work of their opposition. But then once that short stint, came to its merry end, then things started to get just a little bit more bleak. And